Look at that. Fox. Just walked right around it. It's following me. It looks a little skinny. Hopefully it's not trying to eat me.
Well, that was a real Monday kind of trading day. Out of the gates, I was very indecisive on what the lead gapper was, and kind of because there was no clear lead gapper, we had SRNE from the week before Friday, which absolutely exploded, and I think there was a lot of attention on that. The SPY and the overall markets, especially the Dow Jones Industrial Average, up over 3%, big moves. And I think overall the large caps had a lot of the attention today. Even the small caps that we were looking at were kind of more into the large cap category, at least into the mid cap category, I would say. So I knew it was going to be kind of a weird day. And I think one thing I did a little bit wrong was, well, what I did right was I understood that and I was very cautious out of the gates. And that was good. That was a good move. But what I did wrong was I didn't adjust at one point. I wasn't very flexible. So once I did start seeing some nice setups, I was still very in my kind of negative bias on the day, and I missed some really, really good moves. I mean, I'm talking like 3 minutes up 12% kind of moves that would have been so obvious. And I feel like on any other day, especially if those moves were closer to the market open, I would have just snagged. I don't know if I would have got the whole move. Sometimes I sell too early. Actually, oftentimes sell too early. But still, like really kind of clean setups. So I want to talk about those clean setups when I noticed them. When I noticed this is an interesting setup and where some good entries would have been. So I mean, there's kind of two sides to the coin where you don't have to trade every day if you don't see the setups that you're looking for. But at the same time, as a day trader, especially trading momentum, you could kind of find something every day. Every day there is something, but it's do you want to trade it? Do you want to get aggressive on it? Are you kind of flexible? Is it after 11 o'clock where you maybe usually wrap up before 11 o'clock? I think you will find something. But at the same time, the reason I have that hard cutoff usually at 11 o'clock is because it's very easy to try to find something, right? And then you're just kind of looking for something. And at one point you're like, oh man, this one's been moving up for a while, I'm just going to get on this one, and then boom, all of a sudden you make a mistake when you could have just wrapped up with a kind of break even, no profit, no loss kind of day because you had FOMO. So that's a little bit why I want to cut off at 11 o'clock as well. And I'm never saying that there's not opportunities past 11. There's pretty much always going to be an opportunity if you just look for it and you're patient enough. It's really just, how much time do you want to dedicate to looking at the charts? For me, trading, I don't want to be slave to the market. I really like, taking that morning and then being done for the day. But then it's just, on days like today, understanding that the early morning is slow, maybe it's going to pick up around 10 o'clock or something like that, which it did. So if I was a little bit more flexible and I wasn't overly biased, that would have really benefited my trading today. So I hope you guys enjoy the recap. Don't forget to leave a like if you do. Remember, if you're totally new here, we go live every morning at 9:15 a.m. to first review the watch list and then trade the market open every day. So if you're totally new here, consider subscribing. I would love to see you in that chat room. The review should be fairly simple today, but some really good lessons. So let's get to the charts now. And don't forget, guys, leave questions and comments below. I answer all of them myself. Let's get into the charts now. All right, guys. So welcome to the recap video. Still looking at YCBD. Just never really entered this one, which is kind of unfortunate because let's just start with YCBD. Because this was one of our lead gappers, and around pre-market 9:15 when we started the live stream, we're already down over 30% from its highs, and I typically don't look at stocks anymore that are down that much. But YCBD was gapping up 100% from yesterday, so about from even less, like 97 cents to $2, so over 100%. With a float somewhere around 32 million. There's different sources giving different results, but around 32 million float. USA drug manufacturing company and good quarterly 2 results, which typically tend to perform much better than the way YCBD has been showing, or at least performed the market. So I was a little confused here. But honestly, when we had this little triple bottom and we couldn't really break past 1.2, that's when I really started getting a little bit more interested in this one. Unfortunately, I never really pulled the trigger because the volume was so light on it. But from here to here, this was about an 8% move, and then we had a pullback. And the reason I found this one is interesting because a 1020, the 5-minute candle, this represented a 5-minute breakout and a 1-minute pullback. And this is when I was like, guys, YCBD is looking really interesting, and I'm still kind of kicking myself in the butt a little bit for not wanting to trade this 15-minute EMA pullback, and then boom, 12% move right here. I probably would have not got the whole 12% move, but I would have waited probably for the 1.4 breakout, and I probably would have sold into 1.45 or something like that. So this could have been a pretty, or 1.43, or even I don't know. That it's so hard to say in hindsight what he would have done. But this move, we kind of called it out. I didn't act on it, and that kind of bothers me. We had here a 1 minute pullback back to VWAP and then breakout again. This one I find always much more tricky to trade, but overall something is worth looking at. I do like here again we kind of break out higher and have a little pullback again. This is right around the time I ended the live stream, and I was just watching this one. Boom, another 11% move. So YCBD had some fairly, I don't even know if I want to say predictable moves, but pretty clean kind of moves that just kind of slowly evolved into kind of a nice setup. And I don't know, I'm a little disappointed I never jumped on YCBD, but sometimes it was such a slow open today that I never really felt super comfortable entering any of these stocks. And sometimes just not every day is really a tradable day, and today was kind of one of those not really tradable days for me personally. So I'm kind of happy that I just ended the day a little bit red, $2 red. I mean, it could have been $2 green. It doesn't really matter. It's not about having red day or green day. It's about reducing your risk and risk management. And eventually, if you just survive long enough, survive till you thrive. You go through some really nice green streaks as well. Like in March, we had just an absolutely killer green streak. Then April was a little bit slow, but as long as you're not blowing up your account in between, you're going to be doing fine. SRNE, this was kind of the lead gapper on the day, mainly because it was such a hot stock that everyone was watching, because the day before it ran up over 100%. It was absolutely insane. So SRNE was the first one out of the gates that I was looking to trade. I was gapping up 50%, huge float, 110 million float, US biotech. This is the one that last week on Friday, Jim Cramer was tweeting about, has potential coronavirus vaccine or antibody, so cure. So yeah, I mean, really, really positive news with substance. I mean, you can't really predict this or underestimate this one, especially because on Friday it just had an absolutely crazy run. But I was looking for a red to green move and this is Friday right here. I was looking for a red to green move in the market open, and unfortunately, I didn't really get that. Or let me just scroll in here. It kind of worked. It was like a 50% correct, I guess, setup. So let me just scroll back. Oh boy, I'm having some issues here. Okay, so yeah, market opens, first two candles, a lot of selling volume. I wasn't really surprised on that, around $10, pulled back again. And on this candle, I was like, oh, okay, this is looking a little interesting. We had a nice bounce off at 8.5, and then we had a pullback. So I was thinking that, okay, here is a nice potential setup for a red to green move. We are right under the 15-minute EMA, kind of pulled back to the breakout zone at 8.9. That's what I was waiting for. Let me wait for a break of 15-minute EMA. Maybe we're going to retest $10. Maybe we're even going to break out past $10. That was kind of my thesis, right? And I wanted to take profits along the way. Unfortunately, we had the pullback. And then here, typically when you're dealing with small caps and it tries 2-3 times to break out higher and it doesn't work, oftentimes that's a big red flag, breakout or bail out. And SRNE, I should have slowed it down a little bit, understanding that it was more of a large cap, kind of a mid to large cap in our kind of eyes, because we're trading stocks typically, south of 500 million, more typically between 50 and 100 million dollars. And SRNE is at 1.5 billion. So it's, much larger company with much bigger float. So it takes much more money to move a stock like this, which means, on the level 2, it's going to be a little bit more choppy. It's going to be a lot of back and forth. Breakout's going to be maybe delayed. It's going to have multiple attempts and then some rejections, and then maybe eventually it breaks out. So it's a little bit more tricky to trade these. You have a lot more players on these stocks. So, knowing that, I should have gave it a little bit more chance, but ultimately it failed. So it did a 3% move and then it pulled back. So I don't know what I would have done. I probably, if I held through this and I saw this red candle, I probably would have got out on this red candle. If I saw this one, if I was still holding, I definitely would have got out on this red candle, knowing myself, knowing how I trade. But again, going back on saying, what you would have done is very, very difficult, because obviously it's really hard, to kind of confirm that, right? SRNE, as we bounced off the $8, had a double bottom here, had a reversal. This is where I was thinking was interesting. And this is the same time I was looking at YCBD. So here you can see it's about 1020 in this area. We're making moves higher. Oh yeah, specifically this area, because we had a nice big green candle here and a little bit of a pullback. So this is where I thought it was getting really interesting. You can see here on the 5-minute chart, really, really big candle at 1020, exactly here. And if you guys remember, YCBD, 1020, that's again, right around here. And this is when I was looking at YCBD, and I was kind of thinking, okay, both YCBD and SRNE are actually kind of looking interesting again. And I couldn't really make up my mind. I honestly should have just bought both and been like, okay, whichever one doesn't work, I'm just going to cut my losses quickly. Whichever one does work, I'm just going to let run, hopefully as long as possible. So it's kind of annoying that I didn't really get to do that, because I was right on that call, right? So this was a 7% move, not too shabby, while YCBD, this move was actually, where are we? Yeah, that's again over here, from this pullback, which would have been my entry, like I said, 16%. So in total, but this was kind of the first big move here at 11%. That would have been what I was trying to go for. So yeah, that's how we would have traded today if I did it a bit more properly. But yeah, that's just how it goes sometimes. Just out of the gates, everything was just a little bit slow. I gotta say though, KTOV, which at first I was absolutely not interested in, performed pretty well. And I should have been more attentive to KTOV, because even though it was sub-dollar, it was actually leading the small cap world. So there was about $12 million in dollar volume being traded on KTOV, which is still a tiny amount. Typically, we're seeing 50, 100 million in the first 15 to 45 minute, or 15 to, no, that's not what I want to say, 15 to, I don't know, 20, 25 minutes into the market before 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So the fact that we're barely reaching those levels now, and it's 11:34, is crazy. It just shows you that the volume is really in the large caps, which totally makes sense. I mean, the Dow Jones, which is primarily the blue chips, that one's up 3.5%. So that has the most. While the NASDAQ, which is primarily, tech or things that move a little bit quicker, sometimes a lot of small caps in the NASDAQ, that's only up 2%. So it really kind of shows you that, 3.5% day in the Dow Jones is a big day, big day. So yeah, that pretty much sums it up. So KTOV, getting aggressive on the one that clearly is showing the most attention would have been a nice setup. This was kind of a perfect little bull flag breakout right here. And on the 5-minute chart, it's just so beautiful. So I'm kind of like, there was setups today. There definitely was. They all kind of moved a little bit slower. And you had to really know what you were looking for. But KTOV, this is a perfect bull flag breakout right here. So again, why didn't I get aggressive on this one? Oh well, can't be too upset. I just didn't, when I saw the opportunities, I just didn't jump on it like I should have. So HTZ, Hertz, kind of popping out of nowhere's land. Again, a bit more of a large cap, just joining the game, although this is about 500 million. But again, Hertz, that's a huge company. So it's kind of crazy that these are the companies that we're seeing right now. IBIO, we were talking about this one a little bit. Now it looks like it's actually, broke out here. This is looking pretty hot for IBIO. I wouldn't be surprised totally if I took maybe 1 trade or 2 trades today. So tomorrow morning in the live stream, first, if I have any trades, you guys were going to see them there, obviously. And then on Trade Journal, pretty soon we're going to have the function where you guys can see all my trades in the small cap challenge account. So yeah, so stay tuned for tomorrow's live stream at 9:15, guys. If you're totally new here, we go live every morning at 9:15 to review the watch list and then trade the market open. And obviously, if I have any trades that I didn't do on the live stream, I'll talk about those at first as well. So who knows? IBIO, YCBD could be a KTOV. I can't even speak anymore. Could be one. It's tough to say. I would like to see more continuation. Especially with YCBD, there's a few of these I really might hop in on. SRNE, if we hold this $8 area, I think it could be a great play at one point. I would like to see this really break above the $9 though, and start trending above VWAP, and then start making new highs. And then maybe we'll have a new all-time high, break above $10, and maybe hit something much higher. It's really hard to say what might happen. Huge $10 resistance here, multi-month. So I think if we break 10, we could easily start ripping up maybe all the way to 15 and no problem. Big resistance here around $13 as well, but that would be really sweet. Right now, I mean, we're kind of stuck here. So this could be more of an afternoon kind of day. I don't know. Overall, it's just kind of going to be interesting. I just wish that I got a little bit more aggressive in the morning when I started seeing the reversal. So I think that's a big lesson today. Once we didn't have that nice open I was waiting for, I kind of got into a little slump. I was just like, slow day. But I should have been a little bit more flexible and been like, okay, once I see a good setup, I'm gonna jump in on it. And I saw a good few setups, and I was like, nah, I'm just gonna be a little bit cautious. And I think that was kind of my problem today. So if I see a good setup, just jumping in on it. And honestly, right now YCBD kind of looks like a good setup. So who knows what's gonna happen? I'll see you guys tomorrow morning though. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoy the content, and subscribe if you're totally new here. I'd love to see you again. Till tomorrow, guys. Stay safe and make some awesome trades. Ciao.